We just came back from El Salvador, the homeland of the deadly criminal gang MS-13. How deadly? Well, El Salvador has the world's highest murder rate. It's more than 20 times as high as the murder rate here in the United States. MS-13 is a big reason for that. All next week, we'll show you what is causing the problems with MS-13 in our week-long series, Hunting MS-13. But the gang isn't just a problem in Central America. Unfortunately, hence our series, the Department of Justice estimates there are more than 10,000 MS-13 members in the U.S. across at least 40 states. Now, the Trump administration has made the eradication of the group a priority. Even as he was reshuffling the West Wing, President Trump was in Long Island today, where he spoke to law enforcement about the threat from MS-13 and other gangs. Watch.
Together, we're going to restore safety to our streets and peace to our communities, and we're going to destroy the vile criminal cartel MS-13 and many other gangs. But MS-13 is particularly violent. They don't like shooting people because it's too quick, it's too fast. I was reading one of these animals was caught and explaining they like to knife them and cut them and let them die slowly, because that way it's more painful, and they enjoy watching that much more. These are animals. I have a simple message today for every gang member and criminal alien that are threatening so violently our people. We will find you, we will arrest you, we will jail you, and we will deport you.
Daniel Altshuler is Director of Civic Engagement and Research at Make the Road New York, a self-described immigrant rights group, and he joins us now. Daniel, thanks a lot for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Tucker.
So, I don't know if I'm mischaracterizing your position, but you seem to believe that there's something wrong with the president cracking down on MS-13, and I'm baffled by that.
Well, you know, what happened today was that 500 Long Islanders, immigrants and community allies alike, were standing up and saying they're united against the hate of this administration, and in particular, rejecting the use of a local tragedy to score political points in his broader anti-immigrant agenda. This is what we're seeing today and this week is the same thing that we've been seeing since day one of this administration, in which he called immigrants criminals and rapists and tried to paint with a broad brush all immigrants as criminals. And this vilification of immigrant communities is absolutely unacceptable.
Okay. But I think today, unless I missed something, the president was coming out against MS-13, which is a criminal gang, which has, as you know, turned El Salvador upside down. Talk to any Salvadoran, here or there. Everybody believes MS-13 is a massive problem, and the president is announcing a crackdown on that gang. Why is that bad?
So there are two things. First of all, we have to understand this in the context of vilifying and criminalizing all immigrants, which has been the agenda of this president since the first day of his campaign. This is about tearing apart immigrant families.
Okay,
if you want to
spare me the wait, stop. Look, I'm giving you a voice on this show.
Sure.
Spare me the dumb rhetoric and answer my question. What is wrong with going after, and just don't stop with the slogans. Honestly, what's wrong with going after MS-13?
These aren't slogans. These are hard data, Tucker. If you want to look at the #1 group in which we've seen increases in ICE arrests since Donald Trump has become the president, it is people with absolutely no record of interactions with the criminal justice system. What is happening right now is that the president would like to paint immigrants as criminals. The problem is that the data what the data suggests, Tucker, is that immigrants are much less likely to commit crimes than native-born Americans. What the president is trying to do...
Wait, stop. I know you want to give your speech, but I'm asking you about MS-13. You don't like the administration's position on illegal immigration. I get it.
Tucker, what I'm saying is that this is a convenient example.
But there's also a reality. Oh, stop. Wait, stop. There's a reality at the bottom of this. Hold on. There's a reality, and I would think that you, as someone who claims to care about immigrants, would at least acknowledge the reality, which is that MS-13 preys upon immigrants. They're not going after me or you. They're almost entirely going after Salvadoran immigrants, a lot of them illegal, and extorting money from them, and in some cases killing them. It's happening in El Salvador, where we just came from today, and it's happening here. That's totally real. And so why is your position that it's bad to crack down on people who are tormenting immigrants? I'm totally confused.
I'm sorry that you're confused, Tucker. I'm happy to repeat myself if it's helpful. But I will tell you, no one is denying...
you didn't answer my question.
I'll answer you. No one is saying that there's not a public safety issue. There is a public safety issue, and I've worked in Brentwood, where the president went today, for years, and talk and work with immigrant families on a daily and weekly basis. But what we're saying is that if you really want to understand this public safety issue, just as if you want to understand it with other gangs, you have to understand decades of systematic neglect of these communities. You have to understand it in the context...
Where'd you go to college? Where'd you go to college?
I went to Amherst College.
Of course you did.
Where did you go,
because
Tucker?
You're approaching this,
Where did you go,
impressive.
Tucker?
I can promise
I'm
you.
curious.
I went to Trinity College in Hartford, Connecticut.
We played each other in sports. We went to very similar colleges.
Honestly, only someone who went to an overpriced college could reach a conclusion so theoretical that it's utterly divorced from reality. Look, you don't like Trump. I get it. That's fine. A lot of people don't. But immigrants in America are actually being terrorized by this group. So in this one moment, your interests intersect with those of the president. He wants to stop a group that's hurting people you claim to represent, but you won't acknowledge that.
Our interests
Why?
absolutely are not aligned. What he wants to do is tear apart immigrant families. What we have seen is that he is absolutely focused on tearing mothers from their children. If you want, we can talk about very specific
Who's a bigger threat to immigrant families? Oh, hold on. Here's a really simple question. Who's a bigger threat to immigrant families, the president or MS-13?
The president. Without question.
This is
someone who is attacking, who is vilifying 12 million people in this country, trying to paint them with the brush of being criminals, despite all the data demonstrating otherwise, and vowing to separate their families, to separate children from their parents.
There are a lot of data on this question, and we know for a fact that MS-13 members, it seems like the majority of them here illegally, again, are hurting immigrants. Now, you're making the case basically that if a drunk driver kills somebody, we shouldn't attack him because we'd be vilifying all drivers. That's insane. Why can't we just call bad actors what they are? You believe that the president, who has actually not killed anybody with a screwdriver, who is not extorting money from small business owners, you're saying that he's a bigger threat than MS-13? You really have to go to Amherst to reach a conclusion.
Tucker, if you want to understand the threat to immigrant communities, you have to understand the broader context here. There's no question that there's a public safety issue that affects immigrant communities. But you also need to understand that the agency that he's seeking to empower is a rogue and out-of-control agency in which, in the last year, 10 immigrants have died in detention because of neglect and abuse from Immigration and Customs Enforcement. This is precisely the rogue agency that the president is seeking to empower. And what we are saying is we refuse and refute the vilification and criminalization of immigrant communities, and we're going to stand together. And what happened today, if you want to understand,
I bet they look at you in total confusion, like, who's this college kid telling us that we should put up with MS-13 because it's systemic racism or something? They're like, look, these people are taking money from us. They just killed 2 girls with screwdrivers. Like, maybe they should go to jail. But no, the guy from Amherst is like, really, you don't understand. The power structure is oppressing you. They're like, they don't like MS-13.
Tucker,
why would they?
We speak every day with folks in this community. We were out there. There were 500 of us in Brentwood. Have you been? I suspect you have not been to Brentwood, but what I tell you
I've never been to
if you go there, and I'd encourage you to go talk to people, if you do, what you will hear from community members is they are working together to address these issues. If they don't,
what are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? No. First of all, I just came from El Salvador like an hour ago, a city that, a country that's been paralyzed by MS-13. It's got the highest murder rate in the world. It is true. And so I guess, let me just ask you for some specifics, since you're Mr. Data Guy. What specifically are these 500 community members doing to fight against MS-13 that's more effective than what the president just
Well, I'll share
proposed?
with you, for instance, our organization, Make the Road New York, is working with young people for summer programs to ensure that they have access to opportunities, summer jobs, and ultimately partnering with other gang prevention organizations who are working on Long Island every day to show young people a brighter future and also to advocate for greater investment in our communities. And what I will tell you on the nature of investment...
Whatever that means, but why can't we... hold on. And I applaud you. No. Here, I'm applauding you. I'm saying, look, if you offer young people something to do during the summer, that's a virtuous act. But you can also acknowledge that there are bad people, criminals out there who are preying upon the weak, including your constituents, and you want to put them in jail and send them out of the country? Like, there's no reason we should have to deal with murderers who aren't even legal citizens. Like, get the hell out of this country. Is that a bigoted thing to say? No.
I appreciate you applauding the work that we're doing. Part of the work that we're doing also with our community members, and the thing that we're hearing more, I just actually spoke with an immigrant parent in Brentwood today who said, we need more resources for our kids so they actually see and seize opportunities. One of the other things that's happening in Washington right now, as the president is using this as a convenient example to justify an anti-immigrant agenda, is that they're debating the federal budget. And what President Trump wants to do is invest.
MS-13,
what he wants to do
you know anything
is
about
invest
the federal budget. I mean, that's silly.
What the president wants to do is invest billions of dollars. What he wants to do is invest billions of dollars in investing in thousands upon thousands of ICE agents and building a wall that people on both sides of the political aisle say is a senseless idea, while cutting massively public education funding,
but by the way,
affordable housing funding, environmental protection funding.
I just concluded that you don't actually know anything, and you're specializing in the kind of grotesque overstatement that political consultants engage in. This is not a serious conversation. And let me just end on this. I bet your constituents back in Brentwood, when you're not around, describe you as loco. I really do. I doubt they take you seriously. You're like making excuses for MS-13, which is tormenting them. I doubt they appreciate that. I haven't met them. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, you're wrong, actually. You know, we're a member-based organization. We work very closely with community members. If you want to discuss data with me anytime, I'm very happy to do it. I actually have a PhD in political science, so we can talk more about it. It's actually about Central American politics.
Where did you, very quick, where did you get that PhD? Just so I can make sure none of my kids go there. Oh, Oxford. Okay, good. That's
you don't want your kids to go to Oxford?
Thank you.
You don't want...
No, not anymore. I did. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it.